You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about Trinidad Chambliss and Joe Judge. Wow. Joe Judge. He's got all kinds of advice for your young kids when they're in his college program. Whoa, that was interesting. I got to be honest, though. Joe Judge is a disciple of Bill Belichick directly. Where do you reckon he picked up that philosophy from? I mean, you just think I don't believe it was from Lane. By the way, Lane answered Joe Judge online and then deleted it. In case you're wondering, Trinidad Chambliss was probably going to be the fourth highest ranked quarterback in this NFL draft had he decided to come out. Some argued he might be as high as the third or even second quarterback. Some had him ahead of Ty Simpson. Well, he's not going to be there because he's going to play his 47th year in college. All right. Another year, look, there was a lot of drama around, and let's just go to the story. Right here, breaking. Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss has been granted a sixth season of eligibility by a Mississippi state court judge, clearing the way for him to play in 2026. The NCAA can appeal, and they're pissed, by the way. They're mad. Via Pete Thamel of ESPN.com, among other things, the judge concluded that the NCAA acted in bad faith when denying Chambliss a medical red shirt based on a respiratory issue that kept him from playing in 2022 while enrolled at Ferris State. Ferris State. He didn't play a single snap that year, and he didn't dress for the games. The selection of a Mississippi State court clearly helped Chambliss, no doubt about it. It's a home court advantage to have a case resolved by a Mississippi judge who was elected by Mississippi voters, as it would be for any student at any school based in any state where the NCAA operates. Wow. Given that the order will apply as the case proceeds, Chambliss will be permitted to play unless the presiding judge resolves the case in NCAA's favor before the end of the 2026 season. So, long story short, he's getting another year, likely, all right? The NCAA, which I believe has become a largely benign organization. I don't understand why the Big Ten and the SEC, ACC, the Big 12 don't just separate themselves from the NCAA. I've talked about that. Eventually, I think you do get the government involved in all this, and you're going to eventually get, I would guess, a commissioner, all right, over all four of the major conferences. They're going to be the only conferences that are going to be in the playoffs. Now, as far as what he looked like if he would have came out, 66% completion, 3,900 yards, 22 touchdowns, 3 picks. This is his Draft Buzz page. 6'1", 200. The problem is that we know that these college height estimations are always higher, generally, for college quarterbacks. We had a shocker this year at the Senior Bowl when we found out Garrett Nussmeier was actually an inch taller than what was reported. Many people thought he was 6'1". He actually came in at 6'2". All right, Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt said he was 6 foot. He was 5'9" and 7/8. And that 7/8 was getting its back broke by doing all that lifting. Many people believe Trinidad Chambliss is somewhere between 5'10" and 5'11". But yet, there were some folks that had him sniffing a first-round situation. I think it would have been more like the second or third round, but teams are intrigued. Now, my issue is the Dolphins learned its lesson with its short quarterback. They're trying to get away from Tua. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals have learned its lesson with its short quarterback. I contend, and I don't give a damn if they backed into the playoffs or not, Carolina's eventually going to learn their issue with their short quarterback. I don't understand why teams are hoping to cross their fingers into a Russell Wilson, Drew Brees situation. And even Drew Brees was more like 6'1.5" or something like that. Russell was like 5'11.5". So anyway, let's get to Joe Judge in court during this same hearing, talking about football players having kids, and he ain't having that.
But we would have to educate. This is always a tough conversation to have, and it's not even a popular thing, but this is the truth. We would have to educate significant others who may have been pregnant during the season or going to have a baby during the season. And you'd have to educate them on, you have this baby in the middle of the season. That father has to play good football, right? It's a day-by-day production business. He has to be ready to perform and go out there and play. And when I say that is, you need to let him sleep. He needs to be in another room, detached. You have to explain to the mother, like, hey, listen, he ain't waking up for midnight feedings. After the season, he's full metal jacket. You do whatever you want with him. And he can change every diaper. But in the season, he's got to have a different priority. Now.
Okay. He needs to be in the other room detached. He ain't waking up for midnight feedings. I'm going to tell you, coaches take this shit seriously. Seriously. Wow. And as you can imagine, I mean, these comments went viral. 7.5 million views. Lane Kiffin, cringes at Joe Judge's courtroom statement. He did. Right here. Oh, Joe, facepalm. God. By the way, Lane Kiffin has deleted this. But even he knew, oh no, what have you done, Joe? So, as you can imagine, in this day and time, Joe Judge is getting destroyed. I mean, he's getting crushed. Look, I grew up in a very old school kind of time too, and I'm not that old, but I mean, people forget football coaches in the 80s and in the 90s. Even down at the high school level, son of a bitch. I mean, some of those coaches, hardcore. You better be putting everything behind you, and you better be putting football first. You know, of course, I'm in Texas where high school football is like, the end all be all on Friday nights. But that's what happens. You got a lot, and technically now, and let's just be honest, now college football is these kids' jobs. Now, hey, Joe Judge, how about you don't push any fathers away from taking care of their kids? Yeah, all we need is more deadbeat dads out there. But it is that football player's job. And as a father, who hasn't had to work some bleeped up hours, etc. Doing this, I can tell you right now, you think I don't have family in my life? I work 6 10s, and then on Sundays, about 6 hours. That's 66 hours right there. 6 10s, sometimes 6 12s, and then 6 to 8 hours on a Sunday. I mean, I've had 9 days off in 6 years. So, and there's been all kinds of things happen, It is what it is. Yeah. But in this day and time, you can imagine Joe Judge getting blitzkrieged right now. Yeah, I don't even. Is that a band's name? I can't remember. Who knows? Tell me what you think. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're still subscribed. Trinidad Chambliss going back to Ole Miss. They're going to flirt with another playoff situation. By the way, I saw the 24 team tournament bracket by way of the Big Ten that leaked earlier. I mean, Iowa would have been in the playoffs, folks. Virginia would have been in the playoffs. Notre Dame would have been in. That would have been kind of interesting. You know, my Wolverines would have been in, but I mean, wow. 24 teams. Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm not thrilled with 12 teams. If I'm doing anything, I'm making it 16 teams. All those little guy conferences, you're out. It is the power. It is SEC, Big 10, ACC, Big 12. That's the only people getting invited to the party. And I am going to 16 teams, by the way. And we're figuring out a schedule where we're playing the entire playoffs in a month. They're not going to be 10 and 12 and 15-day gaps in between games. That is bullshit. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.